This movie feels unique in this franchise, and in a lot of ways it feels different compared to our previous two movies. Not just characters but also in its execution, while also keeping the themes and topics integral to the first two movies front and center in the story, such as the importance of connection with others in times like these, or even the importance of living itself, and many other things. Welcome back, Visionaries. Let's talk about Quiet Place Day 1. It's Day 1, it's New York, the aliens attack them, and we see all the destruction, mayhem, chaos. We see it from the perspective of our main character, Sam. And while everybody is trying to go to the boats and escape from this place, she is going the other direction to fulfill some wish of hers. And in that journey, she meets Joseph Quinn, who plays Eric, and both of them share a bond in this movie and help one another. Let's start with the good. Clearly, the best part of this movie is the relationship between our two main characters, Eric and Sam, played by Joseph Quinn and Lupita Nyong'o. Lupita plays this character who has terminal illness in a hospice and has no idea how long she has left to live. She is also a cold, mean and callous person. Also, she has a cat called Frodo and her name is Sam. Come on now, we all know what they are doing here. Anyways, while in New York, the aliens attack and we see the destruction, death and chaos all of this causes on the first day itself. And then Joseph Quinn, who plays Eric, comes into the picture. I will say, the way he came into the movie can feel abrupt, sudden, and I can see some of you not liking that, but it didn't bother me at all. But the way the two characters met each other, I believe that felt very natural to the story. I really liked how they met each other, and it really reminded me of this one Studio Ghibli movie called Whisper of the Heart. In this movie, you don't have Evelyn, Lee or the children from the first two movies. It is about these two strangers who are alone, finding each other in times of struggle and helping each other to live, and hence creating a really strong bond with each other that you can feel attached to yourself. Eric has fear and panic attack, and damn, what's with so many good movies recently having characters with panic attack? Whereas Sam has cancer, so they help one another in tough situations, and I really enjoyed watching those. The small moments of bonding these two have throughout the film was just so incredible because of how deep and humanistic they are. One thing the first two films did really well regarding characters was show a deep sense of humanity in them. And in this movie, that's what they do so well. But they use different kinds of characters to do so. So in the first movie, if the sense of humanity came from the family and their dynamics, in this movie, it came from the dynamic between these two characters sharing a bond. So that's how they did it differently. It made me appreciate the story more because they're going for something different from the previous installment, and I really enjoyed that. So it felt like a fresh take. I say this as a compliment because there are so many franchises today like the MCU that just feels very stale now because they're just repeating the same old thing again and again in terms of storyline. But in this franchise, they're not doing that. They're doing something different in the story, and I really appreciate that. Lupita Nyong'o's character just fits in so nicely into this franchise. There was also a cat in this movie which clearly was a better character compared to all the characters in Madame Web and had better acting than all those actors as well in those movies. And it was just really incredible. I really liked seeing the growth of Sam in this film and how Eric really is like a good supporting character for her. It's like Thorfinn and Einar, where Sam is Thorfinn and Eric is Einar, and if that makes sense. Now let's talk about the themes and topics. Of course, survival, connection with other people, having one another, sacrifice, the loss of a loved one. All these were topics carried on from the first film, but in this movie, they show from a different perspective, so they keep it fresh in that sense. Also, they managed to bring in new topics and themes as well, because here's the thing, these are a new set of characters with different kind of struggles, like cancer and panic attacks, so they managed to bring out more different themes and topics explored from the first two movies. For example, I'm not sure how many of you know about this topic, but we only begin to enjoy our lives when we know that our final days are coming. This is the same situation at many hospice. If you go there, you'll know how people feel. Dear Life is a great book that looked upon this theme and topic, and there's this movie called Ikiru that really explored on this topic as well. Then let's talk about the filmmaking point of view. From the filmmaking point of view, I would say this is an excellent movie. The pacing was great, just like the previous two movies. I mean, all these three movies have one thing in common: great editing and their short runtime. The short runtime really helps them with the pacing. There was a lot of tension-filled scenes just like the previous two movies as well. There were also more jump scares than I expected from this movie. Really well done editing here. Not a single moment feels wasted. Also, the cinematography was great. Speaking of cinematography, let's jump straight into the visuals. The visuals, it was excellent. I'm probably going to need to rewatch the first two movies, but I think this one is the most visually appealing of the three. From the lighting, world building, props, design, color grading, to even the use of nature like rain and fire, everything was just
perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Let's talk about the drawbacks. The first point didn't really bother me that much, but I can see some people being bothered by it. The plot can feel derivative. Just like the first two movies, it's about these characters trying to go by their lives and survive these alien attacks in this post-apocalyptic world. So it can feel derivative, like you've seen it before, and so it can really worsen, so it can really affect you, but it didn't really bother me at all. Then my second point is that I wish they explained certain things. This being a franchise now, I wish they expanded upon the world, they expanded upon the lore of these aliens and all that. Like, why on earth are these aliens here and all those questions. And I also wish they showed the learning curve of how people realize you have to be quiet so that these aliens don't attack you and all that. And for my third point, this one didn't affect me that much, bother me that much either. Some people might find it harder to connect to this film than I did. I connect with characters in movies easily, so this wasn't a problem for me. But it may be for some of you. Earlier I mentioned our family from the previous two movies are not here, so this being a prequel with an all new cast except for Digimon Honso, some people may not connect with them as they don't have much links and connection to our main set of characters, so the main set of storyline doesn't have much to do here. This movie feels like a separate and its own self-contained story within this franchise. Honestly, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I think this is the most emotional movie of this entire franchise, and I think this is a solid entry in the franchise. I can't wait to see what else they do with it. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. I see you guys next time, guys. Always the best.